Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajarakanjana
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamunatiravanachari
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Radha Madhava Kunjabihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki
Jai,
Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya,
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya,
Vasudevaya.
Naranam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Namaste,
Namaskrityam,
Nitya,
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Deva Narottamam,
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devi Saraswati Vyasam,
Tato Jaimudirahe
Tato Jayamudire,
Prayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu,
Tyam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nitya,
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam,
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama
Shloka,
Shloke,
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavadinashtiki.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text number 14. Tasmadekena manasa
Tasmadekena manasa,
Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Svatvatam
Sarvapati,
Padihi,
Rotavya Kirtita Vasyascha
Srotavya
Nitya,
Kirtitavasya,
Dheya Pujascha Nityada
Deya Pujasya Nityada,
Tasmadekena manasa
Tasmadekena manasa,
Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi
Bhagavan Svatvatam Padihi,
Shrotavya Kirtita Tavasyasya
Shrutavya Kirti Tavasyascha,
Dheya Pujascha Nityada.
Deya Pujasya Nityada.
Prabhu's
Tasmadekena manasa
Tasmadekena manasa
Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi
Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi
Protavya Kirtitavyascha
Shrotavya Kirtitavasya
Deyaya Pudyascha Nityada
Dheya Punyascha Nityada
Mataji. Go ahead.
Tasmadekena manasa
Tasmadekena manasa
Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi
Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi
Shrotavya Kirtitavasya
Shrotavya Kirtitavasya
Dheya Punyascha Nityada
Deya Pujascha Nityada. Mataji.
Tasmad ekena manasha
Tasmadekena manasa
Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati
Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi
Shrotavya Kirti Vyascha
Shrotavya
Shrotavya Kirtitavasya
Kirtitavasya
Deya Pudyascha Nityada
Deya Punyascha Nityada
Tasmat.
Tasmad
Therefore,
Therefore,
Ekena,
Ekena
by one,
Bhagavan
Manasa,
Manasa
attention of the mind,
attention of the mind
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan
personality of Godhead,
personality of Godhead
Sattvatam,
Sattvatam
of the devotees,
of the devotees
Patihi,
Patihi
protector,
protector
Shrotavyaha,
Shrotavyaha
is to be heard,
is to be heard
Kirtita
Kirtitavasya
Vyaha, to be glorified,
to be glorified
Cha,
Cha
and
and
Dhyaya,
Dhyaya
to be remembered,
to be remembered
Pujyaha,
Pujyaha
to be worshipped,
to be worshipped
Cha,
Cha
and
and
Nityada,
Nityada
constantly.
constantly.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Translation. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship this personality of God, who is the protector of all of the devotees. Purport. In realization of the absolute truth is that if the realization of the absolute truth is the ultimate aim of life, it must be carried out by all means. If any one of the above mentioned caste or orders of life, the four processes, namely glorifying, hearing, remembering, and worshipping, are general occupations. Without these principles of life, no one can exist. Activities of the living beings involved engagement in these four different principles of life, especially in the modern society, all activities are more or less dependent on hearing and glorifying. Any man from any social status becomes a well-known man in the human society within a very short time if he is simply glorified truly or falsely in the daily newspaper. Sometimes political leaders of a particular party are also advertised by newspaper propaganda, and by such a method of glorification, an insignificant man becomes an important man within no time. But such propaganda by false glorification of an unqualified person cannot bring about any good either for the particular man or for the society. There may be some temporary reactions to such propaganda, but there are no permanent effects. Therefore, such activities are a waste of time. The actual object of the glorification is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has created everything manifested before us. We have broadly discussed this fact from the beginning of Janmadi Asya Sloka of this Bhagavatam. The tendency to glorify others or hear others must be turned to a real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring happiness. Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitame Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dati Sarvadantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatakamam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvanartamritam Shri Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanajaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Sahaja Shri Vishakantam Shri Krishna Guruna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpadaya Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Dr. Arjuna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sudhani Gurumami Hari Priyamancha Kalpadavasa Vipasa Devya Vijavaitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Namo Vishwadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharam Shesha Shunyam Vasanta Deshtarane Mukam Garati Vachalam Bangalangayate Gremit Kapatam Vande Shri Guru Nityanam Paramanand Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsar. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text number 14. Tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi Shrotabhya Kirtitavasya Cha Dhyaya Pugyascha Nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. Thank you all for joining on a Sunday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class and also the Mangalati program. I'm sure that you are all blissfully situated by this wonderful spending of your very important time of your day and also the entire week's battery charger. So it's like if you don't charge the battery on Sunday, you're in trouble because 15 days you will not have charge. Every once in a week you need to charge it in full load. Okay, so here this is a very, very important shloka. I would want every one of you to, and including me also, to by heart this, because Prabhupada explains this in a very, very elaborated manner in many literatures. He has connected this as a reference and many places where he has quoted, because it is very important for us to understand why Krishna is called the Supreme Personality of Godhead and why it's not so easy to achieve the Supreme Lord's mercy. So why? Because there are many aspects to this. We will notice this in the straight answer to the sages of Naimisharanya. Now, Suta Goswami is trying to inculcate a focus center. It's like a hub. So he's creating a hub. So what he is trying to say is, Tasmat ekena manasa. You need to have this one point attention of your mind. You cannot waver, because Krishna explains Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna with all concentration. Arjuna accepted that message with all concentration. Krishna is not that person called simple personality of Godhead, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in order to understand the Supreme Lord, you need to have one pointed focus. This focus is not something that you focus on only one thing and after that you go to the next one. Krishna is not expecting you to jump like Prabhupada explains that rolling stone never catch moss. So as devotees of the Lord, the Supreme Lord is our protector anytime, anywhere. We don't have to actually endeavor extraordinarily on anything else. Krishna will provide. Krishna is going to provide, and Krishna will always be providing us. So that is why here it is very clearly said that with one pointed attention, one should at any cost constantly hear about, constantly glorify, constantly remember the Supreme Lord. And with that, so can we mute others, please, if it's okay? Those who are on this, thank you. So constantly remember, constantly glorify, constantly hear the glories of the holy name, glories of the Supreme Lord, because there is no difference between the Supreme Lord and the holy names, and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the eternal divine protector of all the devotees of the world, right? Why is this being emphasized again and again? Is because we have in this world abundance of Shudras, good amount of Vaishyas. Kalau Shudra Sambhava, everyone we are in the Kali Yuga, so it's going to be only the Shudras which are around. But in the same way, to have Kshatriyas, we have only few people who really are Kshatriyas. And Brahmanas are definitely in farce because we don't have any. So, practically speaking, this subject matter is dealing about broadcasting the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What it wants us to understand is that, let's try to understand it in a different way. Who cares how much hard work you put in your office if you don't get money for it? It's a waste of time. Who cares if the water is going missing from the lakes? Who cares if Amazon river, Amazon forest is burned down? No one cares. Who cares if you have to live in a desert region or in any other region? As long as you have money, as long as you know how to enjoy that with that money, your focus is completely money minded. And what happens, that's what is the nature of this point of focus at this point of time across the entire globe. The person who has more money is the one who is calling the shots. But that is actually taking a direct shelter at lotus feet of Maya. Maya apeta jnanam ashram bhava ashrita. Krishna is to be glorified, but Krishna also wants a specific way or a method by which he can be glorified. That's why this broadcasting message is coming through the Supreme Lord in a very, very specific fashion. What is that fashion? Constantly remember him, constantly glorify him, constantly hear about him. Shunvatam Shvakada Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastabadrani Vidunoti Suhritsaram. Sixth chapter. Krishna is explaining all this in the Bhagavad Gita. It's not something new. So Krishna wants us to worship in this pattern. The worship of this is not that someone does something now and then he can do anything he wants and he considers it to be the worship. No, it won't work. You need to be very conscious about it. Why that consciousness is because otherwise you're going to simply create a big havoc into yourself and big havoc to the society in which you live in, right? Krishna says very often this, we all make mistakes, but to make a mistake is normal, but to make that mistake and glorify that is abnormal. Like 90% of the time, we can actually consider that we are in a mercy case situation all the time. But that mercy is also not that something which is coming on its own. It is coming by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Because Krishna chose to give that mercy, it's coming to us. Here you can practically see how it has been the entire world is running around something else. But the whole world's goal at this point of time is Ishwaram Aham Bogi. I want to be the strongest. I am the one who wants to enjoy everything. I have every single thing what I wanted in my capacity. I have got a lot of money. I am the personality who is going to be the one controller for the entire world. This is Ashram Bhava Ashrita. The whole aim of life is to some way or other contemplate to become Krishna conscious. But what are we actually trying to? Srimad Bhagavatam, as we progress, it's going to give many very strong messages. What do we have in this world? What do we have as a person here? When we leave this body, only three ways by which we can actually contemplate who we are. One is by a stool, one is by the ashes, another one is by earth. If you are dead, some people burn you, so it becomes ashes. If you are dead, someone will probably put you into some kind of a pit, and that's what you call as bury. So then that becomes earth. Some people don't even bother. They throw you in some corners on the top of a flat surface, and the so-called jackals and vultures and the scavengers of this society, so they come, they eat and go. So what has happened after that? They pass stool. So that's all it is. So the concept is simple, very straightforward. Krishna is saying that Don't take anything from this world. Don't have to carry from this world to anything anywhere else. So there is nothing called we hold ourselves here and say that, okay, this is my permanent place. This is a temporary place. When did Krishna say this is a permanent place? Krishna never said that it's a permanent place. It is completely temporary. Tu kalayam ashashrutam. Everywhere he is trying to inculcate that information to us, because tasmadekena manasa. You need to have that one-pointed focus. Otherwise, your mind is going to go all over the world. So because of this subject matter, it's been explained in such a very strong fashion. Krishna is trying to again and again, only one thing. What are we focusing? That's very, very key for our success. Are we focusing on our ultimate aim of life? Otherwise, our goal of life is it's getting lost. And how does it get lost? Because of the Ugra karma, which is in that kind of a situation we are in. This Ugra karma is so powerful that it brings even a devotee to be away from Krishna. This place was created based on Krishna's love for us. Let's try to understand that. This place was created because Krishna had a lot of love for us. His unconditional love. Yata tatava vidadato lampato matprananathasta sayavanaaparaha. Krishna is so merciful. He is completely extraordinarily merciful. But what is he trying to create a place? He is creating a place where you can, by his causeless mercy, because he loves you, because you projected yourself that I don't want to love Krishna. Krishna has to still enable himself to say that, okay, this devotee or this personality doesn't want to love me, but still I love him. But nevertheless, I need to give him a facility which will make him not to think about me and love me. That's where we are stuck here. Because Krishna gave that option to us, right? Because otherwise the love is never going to be reciprocated in the finer fashion. It is not going to be possible to us to contemplate on it. Hence, the Shastras are saying there is only one solution. What is the solution? Atapumbir didashreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanatitya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. This is to the reference to the previous verse. This is extremely important for us to understand that whatever scheming we can be doing it any moment of time, every second of our time, we are going to suffer. Whether you are a devotee or a non-devotee, our schemings as a devotee should never be something away from Krishna. Our schemings must only be in Krishna's service, only be in Krishna's meditation, only in Krishna's glorification, only in Krishna's worshipping methods based on the Shastras. Otherwise, that also is a Shramaya Evi Kevalam. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Ekantika Aribhakti Uttaye Kalpate. You need to be very conscious about the practice also. We should not consider that our practice is the highest and our practice is what I am doing is the best. No, it can be a bit strong practice, but it definitely may be a chance that you are doing it in a wrong way. Unless until you validate it with the three tenets, which is Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. So this focus is very important for all of us. Naturally, in this entire world, even if anyone wants to be the topmost person in any of the subjects or any of the fields in which they are specializing, their focus is not going to be wavered here and there. Your focus should always be in one subject matter. Focus on that. Create yourself to that kind of an atmosphere. Make it conducive for your practice to be very concentrated. Then you can achieve the success. In the same way, if you have to achieve Krishna, it's not so easy. Lord Chaitanya explains in the Madhya Lila, Krishna is actually asking this, right? Krishna himself, as Lord Chaitanya, is asking this question to Ramananda Rai in the Madhya Lila. He is saying, out of many types of meditation which is required for all the living entities, how do we meditate on the Supreme Lord with so much of variances, so much of deviations, so much of thoughts which are going again and again like a wavering waves? So how do you focus? So he is asking this question to Ramananda Rai. The chief duty of, Ramananda Rai says, the chief duty of every living entity is to simply meditate at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Then you will achieve success by default. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. Our focus, one-pointed focus, is only at the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. What does it mean? Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Shri Mad Radha Govinda Devo Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtyalabi Sevimanam Smarami. In the temple of jewels of Vrindavan, underneath a beautiful, wishful Kalpavriksha tree, Sri Radha Govinda is seated. They have been served by the Supreme Lord, personal associates and servants. They are very confidential. They are sitting on a beautiful throne. My only focus should be is how do I serve the servants of those who are serving the Supreme Lord, Srimati Radharani and the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna or Madhava. If we can contemplate on it, then it is extremely useful, extremely positive for us. If not, we will never be satisfied. What does it mean we are not satisfied? If you don't do these four things, we will never be satisfied. As a devotee, as a non-devotee, anyway, we are not satisfied. As a devotee, we will not be satisfied in this. Why? Because we are looking at some kind of a very bad situation in our system. Either we are not contemplating on the Supreme Lord and with one focused attention, or there is something which is perturbing our mind or our heart, and or we are making some kind of an offense to the people in general or into any other devotee, or many other things which are relatedly related to the activities which you are going to perform or you are in the process of performing. So Krishna is very clear about it, that the only way by which you can achieve Krishna is when he agrees that he can be achieved. So that means to say, out of all costless mercy, Krishna has created this world where even though he has a lot of love for us, but still he knows that we don't love him. But still he needs to provide that food, clothing and shelter. So he has made that finer arrangements to us to be in this place. Now, Shastras are explaining, Suta Goswami is explaining that unless until we practice this particular progressive path of Krishna consciousness, how many of you understand? Let me put this question. I want an answer from every one of you, or at least many of you. How many of you think Krishna consciousness is the most important thing in your life? I want to see very understand my question very clearly. How many of you understand or accept that Krishna consciousness is the most important thing in your life? Many of you have raised your hand.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, Krishna consciousness is not the most important thing in life. If you have all raised, whoever has raised your hands, please take the next hand, whichever, whether right hand or left hand, and hit on your head. Why? Because Krishna consciousness is not the most important thing. Why? Krishna consciousness is the thing which you need to focus on. Most important, and to be there has got a wide difference. If you think most important, there must be something much better than that, or much better than something like that. No, Krishna consciousness is the only thing which we need to do. And what it means to do by practicing Krishna consciousness completely as it is that these four subject matters which has been explained here has to be completely followed. And there is no compromise to any of this. Shastra has explained this. Because most of us, what we come with is the practice, what we come with is that, okay, this is the most important thing. Tick the checkbox, keep it going. What happens in that process? You are actually losing the focus. When you say that if I'm able to get to the extent where okay, this is the most important thing, I'm going to practice this, and then I'm leaving this, automatically after some time, your focus is lost. Why? Because you've got something else coming as most important thing in your life. So this most statement of most, it keeps varying from different aspects and different subject matter at any given point of time, all across your life. Today, at this point of time, now we feel this, oh, Krishna consciousness is the most important aspect of our life at this point. Why? Because Prabhuji has told, or Mataji has told, or someone else told. But after some time, No, I need to focus on my children's education. That's the most important thing. You see, this most important has changed its subject. From Krishna, it has gone to something else, which is your own. You created the bubble. The bubble is created by you. That bubble is the one which is actually pulling you down and away from Krishna. Maya preta jnanam ashram bhava ashritaha. We are focused. Our focus is getting lost, disturbed. Why? Because we all have to interact with materialistic people. We have to interact with people who are, who knows, we are all working in some way or the other with people who are beef eaters, meat eaters, that people, this people, and so many people. We are not even contemplating. We are actually working. We cannot say we don't. Someone who is sitting on the top is going to take our efforts and he is going to rejoice himself. And that's what he's doing. And but we don't have a choice, so we are working. But then in that aspect and primary focus center, if we say that most important thing is Krishna consciousness for a particular period of time, after which I'm shifting my focus on something else, which is called the most important thing in my life, then we are in trouble. Because Krishna is exclusively asking only one thing. Only one thing Krishna is asking, ekena manasa, pointed, focused, just like an arrow. Arjuna was very, very smart. He was brilliant, but still he could not get the chunk out of Duryodhana's armor at one point of time. He was focused. He was very sure he wants to hit Duryodhana at one point of time. He tried all his weapons. He could not. Krishna asked Arjuna, are you really focused or you are just focused? No, he said, I'm most focused. No, that's not sufficient. You need to be really focused. Find out which is the most weakest point of a person's armor and then blast him. Arjuna was struggling his brains left, right, and center to see how did, first of all, this guy has such a strong armor that I know that there are only two people in the entire world who can build armor. Armor is like a complete kavacha. So who can build that kavacha in me that it cannot be broken. One is Dronacharya, another one is me. And now is a situation which has come in front of me and it's thrown to such a subject matter that I am made a fool in front of everyone. So whatever it is, after all, Duryodhana, he never know what is called archery. He only knows how to fight on mace. And this guy is completely defending himself very neatly without any difficulty. There must be something wrong. So where is the chunk in the armor? So in order to identify the chunk in the armor, you need to be one-pointed focus. Ekena manasa. Not that most focused. Because most focus varies. But whereas one-pointed focus means I know that there is something wrong somewhere. I know where this point is going wrong and how do I hide. And that is how what he did. He focused on only the fingers, nails of the Duryodhana and then fired the arrows only to the fingernails. Not even to the fingers, into the fingernails only. So he had 10 fingers and all the 10 fingers were only having the arrows. You can imagine all the arrows hitting the corners of the nails, not on the fingers. So that is pointed focus. In the same way, Shastras explain that we are practicing good. We are in a good space. We are started the process of Krishna consciousness. But unless until you invest time to realize, understand, and note it, that this is what is going to develop you into your love for Krishna. The lost love is going to be bought. And then you don't have any other thing in the world to do. You need to focus by glorifying the Lord, meditating on the Lord, remembering the Lord, worshipping the Lord. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna is demanding. No one else demands. He is demanding because he has the command to do that. And that is what is an expectation from the Supreme Lord, because we are at the receiving end. And we need to understand it for a fact that this Shastra explains that you can achieve the Supreme Lord only through this process of understanding these 4 steps. And that can be done not by anyone else. So followers of this Varnashrama Dharma has to be the only ones who get the chance to get to these 4 levels. So you need to atapumbe dvidashreshta. You have to be a twice born. And in order to do so, you need to have these 4 steps. And once you get these 4 steps in place, automatically you know that you will naturally get revealed the higher frailties of this world and highest level of Krishna consciousness which can be realized. That can come automatically as you progress in your path of success. The path of success is that you spend your vital time, not that you just do it for the sake of doing or heck of saying. Shastras are very clear about it. They want you to focus on this. So any activity which you're performing, make sure that it is always in akarma state, not in vikarma nor in karma state. And that will lead you to the understanding of glorifying the Supreme Lord at any given point of time. If not, we are in some kind of a very disillusioned state. Whether it's right or not, we are not able to take a collective decision. We are dependent on many factors for that decision to practice this. So Krishna's explanation to this one is that with one pointed focused attention, any devotee has to be practicing this, should constantly hear Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. First comes is Shravanam. Always hear, remember the Lord and meditate on the Lord. Will all follow, but you need to first hear. Shunvatam Shvakata Krishnaha. You need to hear. That's the first step towards success of Krishna consciousness. And that can happen automatically by chanting the holy name of the Lord. You don't need to do anything extra. All these 4 steps are in one shot. And that's naturally possible for us to practice it. And sometimes what happens in this process, sometimes we feel that there is a gap, there is a vacuum, there is a lacuna, which is also taking us towards us and taking it away from us. That's because there is some gaps in our system. That gaps, we created it. Sometimes what happens, you drink water, right? And you give a break with the water. Sometimes you feel your stomach is bloated. You feel like gas coming out, right? Why? Because that vacuum has completed. It has picked up the vacuum there. So in order to remove the vacuum, you need to make sure that the process is very strongly practiced and automatically the vacuum will go off. So you leave it just to follow the process as being instructed by the spiritual masters who have been following in this Guru Shishya Parampara. So you don't need to do something extraordinary or out of bound. Sometimes Prabhu will say, okay, Prabhu, I have a question. Okay, yes, what is the question? So, someone is practicing Krishna consciousness for the first time. They may probably not do everything in a very natural or a correct fashion. So will it still work? Process is paka. You may not practice, but still the focus should come in. Moment the focus comes in, automatically all these activities will be naturally done without any discrimination, without any deviation. So that is where our success story stands. We don't have anything else to carry with us. We don't belong to this world. We have nothing to do with this world. We have no relation with whatsoever with anyone else in this world. But it's not so easy to let go all this. We are bounded very strongly. Now we need to learn the art of unbinding it. We don't need an art of living here. We need to learn the art of dying or leaving here. L-E-A-V-E. That is the art we need to learn. Not that L-I-V-I-N-G. You don't need to. Elephant knows how to live. An ant also knows how to live. So what's the big deal about us learning the art of living? We need to learn the art of leaving. That's the key success. That success is not so easy to achieve. That needs lifetime practices. There are many people who have been doing all these Ashtanga yogas. They have been practicing all these things in a very meticulous manner. Still, they can't reach the highest level of Krishna consciousness, which is Krishna Prema. So that is not possible so easily. Why is the Acharyas are giving us the pramanas? The pramanas are the ones, the proof, which actually is the practice. There is a prayojana mantra, which actually we spoke about, right? To understand Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadumada, right? The Supreme Lord is to be understood in one single focused attention. Attempt it. Let us attempt it. Then we will talk about it, whether we are achieving the success or not. Without even attempting, how can we say for sure that, Prabhuji, I attempted, nothing happened? No. You need to practice. It's not a one-day affair. It's a lifetime relation building affair, which we have lost it. And that's where the key success actually comes in for it. It comes to your friend only because of that. That's very important. I'll stop here. If you have any questions, clarifications, reflections, or any protest, I'm happy to hear. Let's hear as much as we can. Right? This is very important, but that is this shloka itself is very important. Prabhupada explains in many places. So please invest your time to by heart it and keep that in mind. Whenever Krishna is actually, whenever we have a trouble with our mind, immediately remember this shloka. Tasmad ekena manasa. Bhagavan Satvatam Pati. He is the Pati. He is not a some commoner. He is the divine protector as Lord Narasimha. Someone came, someone gave a wonderful boon, which someone thought that it can't be reached at all. So Krishna has to scratch his brain to come out with a form. Like Hiranyakashipu asked for a boon which was unimaginable by anyone. He went and directly asked Brahma, I am very happy that you came in front of me. If you did not come in front of me, I would have probably busted you from my own ashes. And then he started asking this question to Brahma. He said, I don't want to be killed by an animal. I don't want to be killed by a human, nor by this one, nor by that one, not in the day, not in the night. So Krishna, well, what else to do? Finally, Brahma had to say, okay, I will give you all these options and it's your choice. Because don't expect liberation from me, because even I am in the same boat as you are. Even I have to leave this body and go out. So there's no. So we are all trying this. Can we become Krishna, Mr. Krishna's direct recipient of all this mercy in this body? The practice is this. You practice, automatically you'll get it. And if you don't get it, how do you expect that to happen? Hiranyakashipu put so much clause and conditions. The Lord had to completely contemplate on it, meditate on it, scratch his head to come out with a form of Narsimha. He did not want to be killed by a living entity. So he had to use a nail, which is a dead matter. Nakam Adbhuta Shringam. So he used this one. So just to make sure, he made sure that this personality is not sitting inside the house, outside the house, in the mid of the air. Every combinations and permutations he had already asked for. So Krishna came out with this beautiful option. And that is where he is being given that. So we have that person who is called the divine protector for us to be protected. In what? In practicing these four. But if we have that honest feeling of appreciation, a feeling of gratitude, feeling of positive attitude towards practicing Krishna consciousness, we get it. If we don't, then how do you expect us to get a better results or a better answer for that? Krishna can give us many options, but it's in our hands that we practice it with focused attention. Some people are very good in practicing something. Okay, they focus and they do some. Krishna consciousness is not a career path. Please understand it and make it very clear. It's not a career path. So I chant now, I submit my sadhana sheets, I do this, I do that. What happens to me? Oh, I go to the first initiation and after the second initiation. No. Krishna consciousness is not a career path. Krishna consciousness is the path by which you practice these four steps: glorifying, meditating, worshipping, and contemplating on the Lord, of how I can completely utilize all my resources in serving the Lord. Then automatically your career becomes the path and path becomes the career. Otherwise, we'll always be in this duality. Why is there night? Because there is day. Why is there cold? Because there is hotness. So all these are combinations and permutations based on this duality in this world. There is no duality in the spiritual world. It's just natural. But here you see the daylight, you see the sunlight, and the night you see the moonlight. So the variations are always there. That's why we are getting very badly impacted, because we are not able to come to the terms of how do I overcome these. And it's not, when you start meditating on this, automatically you will know, okay, good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people. Why is that? Why am I not in control of the situation? Why is it that only bad things are happening to me? I am a good man. Answer is there in your own way. You need to learn the art of being akarma, not vikarma nor karma. That's important. Okay, if there is any questions.
There's one comment in the chat, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
He says, thank you. This is A60 Pro, so I'm not sure who, but if they'd like to post their name, that would be nice. But thank you, Prabhuji, for being very honest and sincere, not glorifying us. Unlike some so-called gurus, Prabhupada didn't dilute this sacred knowledge to satisfy Western people. He gave everything very honestly as it is, without compromise. This way, only we can progress.
Yeah, thank you. It's very natural, right? We don't want to show bottle ourselves. We do a lot of things. What's the point in diluting it? Diluting means it's no originality. So it's like putting so many ingredients and compensating it for something else. We are already in a khichdi format, and I don't understand how we can overcome that and make a. You can't make something else out of khichdi. Khichdi is always going to be khichdi, and at this point of time, we are in that kind of situation. So we need to learn it, and we need to accept the fact and straightforwardly and understand where we are and why we are in this kind of a bad situation. Let's scratch our head and come out with some kind of a thought process. Everyone, let's go back to our desk, go back to our dashboard, write in a piece of paper. What is your goal? What is it that you wanted to achieve in this particular period of time, which has been entitled to you? Maybe 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, or maybe 2 years, or maybe 2 minutes. Who knows? I am talking to you at this point of time. Next moment, I may not be able to talk. It's possible. Anything is possible. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. So we are going to go out of this body in some time or the other, whether it's today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow or 100 years later. But still we need to exit this body. But where is the goal setting for us? No goal is achieved without a goal setting. We are changing goal posts left, right, and center. You're saying, like, for example, I asked this question. Everyone answered, almost most of us answered that, okay, including me. I said, what is the most important thing? Krishna consciousness is the most important. We all answered yes. Why? Because that's what we feel is the most important thing in our life at this point of time. Suddenly, if something major, let's say you are the Euro lottery winner, 100 million pounds or 200 million pounds coming your way, immediately Krishna consciousness will take a backseat. Why? Because you will get carried away. Unless until you know for sure that you have been grounded based on the Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. This is natural. If a practitioner is completely focused with one attention, one focused attention, ekena manasa, then this kind of dualities will never impact them. It will never ever come to their picture. They are extremely, extremely cool, calm, and very composed. That is why you see great, great devotees. Here, Parikshit Maharaj was given 7 days matter. He is going to be there in this system only for 7 days. After that, he is eliminated out of the system. Right? He was so focused. He did not have food. He did not bother about what his clothing is. He did not bother what his shelter is. He completely took shelter at the lotus feet of Shukadeva Goswami. Right? Prahlad Maharaj, so much focused. There were people who came, bound him in ropes. They throwed him from the hills and mountains, put them under the water, dumped them very badly. And there are so many ways by which they impacted everything, right? It was like big, big elephants, giving poisons, getting snakes into his system, so many things. But he was only pointedly focused. How can he meditate on the Supreme Lord? How can he be delivered by the lotus feet of the Lord? Let me only concentrate on him because I belong to him. That ownership has to come to us. That love has to come to us. That craving should come to us. We should feel that I belong to Krishna and I don't belong to anyone else in this cosmos. And I need to be completely focused on only that. Let's practice. Give it a try. If you want it as an experiment, give it a try for 1 month. Concentrate on the Supreme Lord only, and also make a note how many times you have not concentrated. And in 1 month period of time, let us come back and then go and analyze. That's what it's all about. Do a fishbone diagram if you want. No problem. You come out with some kind of an analysis and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Let me do it for 1 month. If you can't do it for 1 month, do it for 1 day. Forget it. Just do it for 1 day. Get up in the morning. As soon as we have only control on getting up, We don't have control on getting up. We have only control of going to sleep. So from morning, say 5 o'clock onwards, till you sleep at say 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever, how many moments of time there is a gap in our process where we have never thought about Krishna and we have only thought about our own things or our own activities. Then automatically we will be more refreshed, more refined, and we'll come to that lemon. No lamentation will happen, because then we know that, okay, we are making mistakes here, and then we'll be able to reach the success. And the goalpost should not change. Goal should be there, goalpost should not be changed. That's where the key factor of success is. Okay, Prabhu. Any questions, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. So that question was from Saulia Mataji.
Okay.
She's got that comment. Now there's a question to follow it up. Prabhu, how can we give this knowledge to newcomers as it is and not overwhelm them at the same time? Thank you.
This is, you practice, and when you practice, automatically people will watch you practicing, and you don't need to give a separate session here. Whether it's a newcomer or old comer, we are no old comers. We are all newcomers only. There is nothing called I am Mr. Perfect here. Everyone is in the same boat, maybe in different decks based on our little extra practice here and there. But the fact remains that when you are practicing properly, automatically people will watch you practicing. That means to say that you have become an example to them to emulate. So automatically they will take up. They will not think that, okay, this person is not cheating. He is honestly practicing. So it is what he is coming out as from his mouth. So then naturally everyone will take the right thing, right? So we don't need to reinvent a wheel. The wheel is already present. The invention is not needed. We simply follow the tenets of what Prabhupada has told us in Bhagavad Gita. You are not following any person here. Please note, we are practicing, we are following the tenets of Bhagavad Gita. We are following the Supreme Lord. We are following the words spoken by the Supreme Lord in the battlefield. We are not following a practitioner in that directions. Because I might be Mr. Perfect today, and tomorrow I might be doing something nonsense tomorrow. So then what will happen to you? And when you are connected to me and you are saying, oh, Prabhuji is doing that very nice one. Okay, and then tomorrow, if I go and sit in a bar and restaurant and keep drinking, then will you practice and follow me? No. We follow the tenets of Bhagavad Gita. That is why Bhagavatam is called Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So that is why we need to understand and practice. So important. The practice is not, it's a day affair. It's a lifetime of lifetimes, many lifetimes of practicing Krishna consciousness. And it's not something wrong or difficult. It is our natural progression. And then you don't need to show it to a newcomer in this way. You just continue to practice. And automatically people will watch and you'll be there. Say a few words here and there, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And automatically it will come to place. But if you don't do that, so what else are you doing? You're trying to fill in the blanks anyway. Every day you're filling your timesheet, right? We are all filling our timesheet. Morning starts, ending the evening, we are filling the timesheet. I did this, I did this. And look at that same timesheet. Maybe we should come out with some kind of a timesheet which says that as a devotee, this is what we need to do, but still, what are we doing? Absolutely, you will be there. How much moment of time you have really filled in Krishna conscious timesheet, and how much of time we have spent for ourselves, which is not Krishna conscious. Then we will realize, for which we need a spiritual master. That is why a spiritual master is present. Anyone who does not want to take initiation, anyone who does not want to come to the level of understanding and supplicating themselves to the practice of surrender, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. Bhagavad Gita is telling us, if you don't want to take to that level, you are really missing something brilliantly sweet. The honey is so nectarian that you would not want to let go. People are rejoicing, they are loving it, and you need to take that shelter. Taking shelter at the lotus feet of a spiritual master is like divine nectar. And the way in which it is done is phenomenal. And you love it. It's just a matter of time, because we have not got the taste for the higher stuffs in world, in life. We are contemplating whether we need to do it or not. Should I do it or not? Whom do I do it or not? Many questions coming back and forth into your mind. Don't allow your mind to focus in those kind of negativities. Make your mind focus on those positives. Tasmat ekena manasa, with that closely focused pointed, just like the arrows. Then you will achieve the success of life, which is Krishna's love. Okay, next question, Prabhu.
Okay, Sushant Prabhu says, very nice session, Prabhu. And there's a request here from Prabhu also. He's saying, essence of Bhagavatam course. Is it possible, Prabhu? Srimad Bhagavatam, essence of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh, essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu. 18 volumes, 12 cantos. Bhakti Vaibhav is a practice you can do. They take it for 2 years, only for first to 6 cantos. So the essence probably will be for 6 years, every week, every day, 1 hour each for 6 years. we can probably give an overview, not an essence. We can give an overview of each of the chapter, each of the canto which is actually dealing with. Like 12 cantos, 12 overviews. That can be something which can contemplate it, but not an essence. Essence to a Bhagavatam, yeah, overview is possible. Each of the canto, what it talks about, and why it needs us to be focused on that at the point of practice. That we can probably contemplate, meditate, and see something can be done. But not an essence to Bhagavatam. I have not come across anyone who has even attempted it. Anyway, it's a good thought. Probably we'll take it up. Yeah.
Thank you. Just that because Gita recently, I'm beginner. So Gita, Ramkana Prabhu has nicely done. So we got a gist of idea. Even we are doing Bhagavatam in Oriya also, other classes, other weekdays. So we just thought of idea. Just thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
very good.
Overview.
Yeah, overview is possible. Yeah, let us hope that somewhere Krishna enables us to understand and take it up. Yeah, end of the day.
Okay, Prabhu, we've got one last comment here from Helen Mataji. That's Helen Thomas Mataji. She says, "Hi Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for a very nice lecture with pranams." That's from Helen Mataji.
Thank you for attending. Okay. Well, what is the takeaway from the session? That's more important. Are we understanding what is the Shastras explaining us? Bhagavatam explaining us something? That is more important. Yes, Saranam Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu. So this question is slightly related to what previous devotee asked. I thought like Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Is it not the case? Or maybe
Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are different literature by itself. Bhagavad Gita is the Lord speaking. Bhagavatam is spoken on the Lord. So you're talking about the Lord giving fundas to you. So that is Bhagavad Gita. And then Bhagavatam is not funda giving. It is all about the pastimes of the Lord. To know more about the Lord, you need to know Bhagavatam.
Thank you, Shambhu.
Yes. Hope this is a good takeaway for all of us. It's very, very important for all of us. This is very important. We need to learn the art of accepting that there is something called higher taste in life. The life is meant to understand that higher taste. That higher taste is to reach the goal of life, which is Krishna's love, Krishna Prema. Automatically, you will be in the best of abilities to capture yourself within that tenets. It needs practice. It needs a lot of efforts from our side. There is 2 ways by which we can get that. One is to associate with devotees who are all the time thinking about how we can practice Krishna consciousness, how we can improve upon our Krishna consciousness, where we can actually connect with our Krishna consciousness. So that is something which you will do. That's first step. And second step is that Krishna has to enable that also. So we pray to the Lord and then contemplate and meditate on the Lord's mercy. Then automatically we'll reach there. That's natural. It's not going to be something you're putting an extra effort or extraordinarily you're thinking, oh, does it need more time of my time to invest? Anyway, we are trying to fill the timesheets of our day. But why do something which is not going to get you any result in your spiritual practice or in your life? Everyone is given a chance to be in this body. So we need to learn it. We need to accept it. The moment we are asked to get out of this body, we don't have a choice. We can't practice, we can't do anything what we are doing now. So let's take it. It's a bit agitative state at which we are in, but it will definitely improve our standing. It will improve our standing. It will also improve our conscious effort and attempt to know what is in store for us. Okay, right.
Okay, Prabhu, there's a couple of more comments, and then we've got an announcement, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mika Mataji says, thank you so much, Vishal, for a wonderful class with pranams. That's from Mika Mataji. And Dan Lakshmi Mataji says, thank you so much, Vishal, for the wonderful session with pranams as well. So
if all are saying wonderful, good, great, and all these things, I am expecting that every one of us follow these 4 things. So there is no other compromise for any of us. So what is the point in glorifying me? No point. Don't glorify me, glorify the Supreme Lord. Tasma dekena manasa. With one pointed focus with your mind, the mind should be only focused on Krishna, and activities glorifying Krishna are connecting with all your activities, and make sure that Krishna loves those activities which you are performing. It can be simple. Like, for example, we can practically see in this whole lot of group, I'm obliged, I'm overwhelmed and obliged to see that there are devotees who are doing wonderful services to the community at large. Like, for example, Maria Mataji is there, and the entire devotees are cooking there. They're cooking and feeding all these homeless people. Krishna will love this. This is what Krishna wants. He wants every living entity to come back to his lotus feet. And how do we enable that? Let's be the carrier. Let's be the what do you call as a small instrument in our practice of Krishna consciousness. That will enable everyone. So many millions and millions of living entities are just failing here. It's rotting. And we are also rotting with them. But we need to show the differentiator. Let's make that differentiator today. So the glorification should happen only to Krishna and no one else. Only to Prabhupada and no one else. Because they are the only ones who have enabled us. And that's where the key of success is. Okay, go for the announcements, Prabhu. I think.
Okay, the announcements are
Saranam Prabhu has raised his hand. I don't know why he's raised his hand. You have a question? No, he doesn't have a question. Okay.
There's one last question just to follow that up, Prabhu. Salia Mataji says, and this will be the last one. So, Prabhu, sometimes even after understanding so much matter, we can be dragged out at times by some lower taste, like something else, social media, some mundane talking. How do we avoid that? How does one avoid that?
Don't be in the social media. What's the value out of you being in the social media? You wanted Prajalpa, you want Gramakata, so you're stuck with social media and all that. If you don't want, you want pure Krishna consciousness, there are places where you need to go. You need to learn the art of being like, you should ask Maria Mataji, she is a beekeeper. How she entraps the bee and always connected with the bees. In the same way, Krishna consciousness is for bees. Krishna consciousness is not for houseflies. Look for bee. Always connect with the devotees, always connect with Prabhupada books, always connect with the activities which are Krishna conscious. Then social media does not come into picture. Yeah, that's why we are trying to fill up the blanks. Timesheets are filled and submitted. Every week and week, 40 hours, 50 hours, we have 24 hours we are filling. But what is it that we are trying to fill with? Is there love in that system? Or is there hatred in the system? Is there something called what you feel is an appreciation in the system? If those are things filled in, phenomenal. I'm not trying to portray negative thoughts and negative figures and negative values. Always look at something which can be a takeaway to you, then you can glorify yourself that you are a part of that wonderful, glorious system called Krishna consciousness. Then you will know, realize, yes, I have spent my time, and you will be very, very cherished. You will be very happy. You will feel so much happy. That's the last statement in that shloka. The shloka simply says that The tendency to glorify others and to hear others must be turned into a real object of glorification, which is the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. And that will bring happiness. No other thing. I can glorify you by 100 words of eloquency, right? I can eloquently say, okay, 100 glorification words. And then I can say maybe through some kind of a glorification, but that's not going to help us, which will not fetch anything to us. But if we practice this Krishna consciousness, if we are becoming more and more conscious of what Krishna's glorifying presence is, his extraordinary ability to enable such a idiot or a useless person like me to make something out of me, to be a part of that system, then automatically you need to glorify the Supreme Lord, because he has enabled us. That's what is wanted. Okay, Prabhu, I think we should stop here.
Yes, Prabhu. So just an announcement that we've launched Jagannath Snacks coming from Jagannath's Kitchen. So if anyone, rather than buying the walkers and the KP nuts and these things in the shops, we can order Mahaprasadam snacks. Yes. So if you'd like to receive updates on what snacks are being freshly cooked from Jagannath's Kitchen, then please follow the necessary WhatsApp groups or telegrams just to connect to the Lord while snacking through his Mahaprasadam. So the telegrams have been launched. There's many devotees involved in this seva. Different snacks, £5 for 500 grams. You can order kilograms. You can order weekly orders. If someone wants to share what snacks are available, because they're all authentic and it's not my culture, so but they're very tasty, but I don't know the names of them. So if anyone would like to share what snacks are available, that would be appreciated. Chaitanya Prabhu, I know he's ordered